Today, I want to discuss an important part of your wellness journey, and that is goal setting. Through my work with inclusive movement and in my osteopathy practice, I've seen many people struggle with consistency, not just becoming active, but keeping it going so that you can actually see and feel the benefits of exercise and an active lifestyle. I have seen when people are clear with their overall vision and they can break down this vision into small, achievable, short term goals, they are much more likely to stay on track and see success in their overall wellness goals. There is such power in beginning and starting out small and simple. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with these huge, massive goals at the beginning of your journey because the truth is you're more likely to fail and feel discouraged and feel negative emotions when it comes to exercise or whatever behavior you're trying to implement into your life. When I see people dive into these intense exercise programs or these really big behavior changes, although it's great to see the enthusiasm, most of the time it's unsustainable. It's really hard to fit that big of a change into your life, and you're more likely to teeter off or not stay consistent. Whereas when you start small, you can gradually increase the difficulty, the intensity, the duration, and challenge yourself in an appropriate way over time. So if you're someone who's looking to get started with exercise and want to keep it going, instead of thinking or planning, I'm going to work out for an hour on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or I'm going to dedicate 30 minutes a day to exercise. As great as that sounds, and there's so many benefits to a plan like that, I encourage you to just start off with 5, 10, 15-minute long sessions. Fit those into your day and give yourself a chance to find a groove and feel really comfortable setting aside that amount of time to exercise, especially when it's not right now part of your routine. So a practical example of what that would look like is your first couple weeks of beginning an exercise program. You could say, I'm going to follow a 5-minute exercise or mobility video every other day. So every couple days, I'm going to follow along to a whole body, gentle, low impact exercise video I can do from home. Once that starts to feel comfortable, after that 2 weeks, it's going to feel a little bit more natural and easy to fit into your schedule. Doesn't take a lot of conscious effort, and it's not something you're dreading or trying to squeeze in. Getting to week 3 or 4, maybe start to increase these sessions to 10 minutes. So now every 1 or 2 days, you're following along to a 10-minute full body exercise and mobility video. Weeks 1 and 2 was all about, okay, I can fit this into my schedule. I'm gaining some momentum. It's feeling good. I'm feeling the benefits. Week 2, we're just adding on 5-10 minutes to that predetermined scheduled exercise that you already have. Now you can follow that format for weeks 3 and 4. Now we get into week 5 and 6, and maybe now we're progressing these sessions to 15, 20 minutes long. So again, the challenge isn't fitting it into your schedule or having the motivation to do that. We've gradually worked on that in weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now we're just adding on a little bit of intensity, challenging our bodies a little bit more in each session. In 6 weeks, you have developed a really appropriate, suitable exercise routine where you're exercising for 15 to 20 minutes a few times a week. And believe me, that is enough to see significant changes, especially if you're someone who's just starting out and exercise isn't part of your daily or weekly routine. Think about that. In 6 weeks, every couple days, you're just effortlessly exercising and checking off that box. And as you're progressing past this 6-week mark, maybe you're keeping that 5, 10, 15, 20-minute exercise bout, whatever's suitable for that day. And maybe you're adding on another day of the week, or maybe you're adding on one exercise session on the weekend. You can see here, when you start small and slowly build onto your exercise routine, it's less of this overwhelming diving into probably an uncomfortable and unrealistic exercise schedule to fit into your life. Another tip for those who are just starting out and you want to stay consistent and you're sitting down to write your goals, look at your goals, visualize the overall outcome that you're looking for, whether it's a weight loss goal, whether it's just to feel better in the morning, get through your workday without pain, I encourage you to focus on process goals. These are the goals day to day, week to week, It's a chance to celebrate these little wins here and there that keep you motivated, keep you believing in yourself, and helps prevent you from getting in your own head and having these mental hurdles that are holding you back. So if you have big goals such as losing X amount of weight or running a marathon, while these big visions can be motivating and exciting to get started on, they're not always the most effective targets to focus on as a beginner. Instead, I encourage you to focus on process-oriented goals. These types of goals are the ones you can control day to day, week to week. These are the goals that actually provide that clear roadmap heading towards those overall bigger wellness goals. For example, instead of saying, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, I encourage you to use language like, I am going to start by following along to a 2-week exercise course that is low impact, that I can do from home, fit into my schedule, and most of all, is suitable for me. So I'm talking about a beginner. Instead of diving into an exercise program that's full of burpees, squats, weights, and hours at the gym that will probably cause an extreme amount of soreness, cause you to feel overwhelmed by all of this new stuff that's on your plate, just start out small, break off a piece, and just focus on that first 2 weeks. After that, you might tell yourself, okay, now I'm going to follow along to a 4-week guided program that's low impact, I can do at home, fit into my schedule, and is suitable for me and my current fitness. And maybe in addition to following along to that 2-4-week exercise program, maybe small goals for yourself on the nutrition side of things, like I'm going to swap my sodas or juices for water from Monday to Friday. These are littler goals you can control. And when you can check that box, it feels really good. And it's a way to keep you motivated to start again the next Monday and stay on top of these new habits, stay consistent. And sometimes they're so small that you barely notice trying to fit these things into your new life. Another example of a process goal that you can control and feel good about is I'm going to practice deep breathing for 5 minutes every night before I go to bed. You can follow a guided video and just take that 5 minutes before bed, practice that mind-body connection, and it adds on to that new routine of being more aware of our body and honoring our body with healthy behaviors like exercise, movement, deep breathing. Another example of a process goal that you could focus on instead of diving into this new lifestyle with these great intentions is I am going to complete 3 15-minute seated exercise sessions this week. See how you feel at the end of the week? You're probably going to feel proud of yourself. You'll probably already feel the physical benefits. And I can almost guarantee the next week you'll be excited to do that again. Another tip I have for you, if you are looking to start goal setting and making steps towards your overall fitness and wellness goals, is to find your intrinsic motivation to why you even want to start this new behavior of exercise or eating better or sleeping better or staying hydrated. Like I said, it's great to have these big visions and long-term goals. You want to know and have a sense of where you want to go. But again, I encourage you to focus deep down and make sure that as you work towards these bigger goals and these smaller goals along the way, you are doing these behaviors and you're working on this for you and for a deeper, more foundational reason. I can guarantee you will way more likely stay on track if when you're about to exercise and you're finding yourself lacking motivation that day, if you know why you're doing this and why this is good for you, not anybody else, not for your long-term goal, but for you that day, I guarantee you're more likely to start that exercise session and continue on that week. So what are some examples of finding that intrinsic, deep-rooted intention of why you want to exercise and become more active? It might be you're finding that you can no longer pick up your child or grandchild without your back screaming at you. And you're starting to feel a little bit sad because you know your kids or your grandkids love to be played with and you just want to get right in there with them and have fun, but your back is telling you, don't do it, and you have to say no. Something like that can be motivation enough to figure out what's going on with my spine or my back or my hips. And when you start that exercise program or try to implement these new behaviors and you're kind of stuck in a motivational rut, it's something to look back on and remember, if I can just stay consistent, if I can just take this step today, do my 5 minutes, do my 10 minutes, I'm going to work towards being able to get back playing with my child or grandchild and having fun and seeing the smile on their faces. Another example of finding your why or your intrinsic motivation to exercise could be something like you're tired of having to say no when you're invited to a social activity that involves walking or being active, and you want to be there, you want to show up, you don't want to miss out, but your body's telling you, don't go, it hurts to walk, my back will hurt the next day, I won't be able to get through work the next day if I go and participate in whatever activity this is. Are there times that you have to say no to something you would otherwise enjoy if you didn't have mobility restrictions or aches and pains holding you back? Use that the next time you are on the fence of whether I'm going to do this 10-minute exercise video or not. Think back and go, how fun is it when I can say yes to these activities and yes to spending time with friends and family doing active things? Another example of finding your why and your intrinsic motivator to live a healthy, active lifestyle is improving your mood and overall well-being. So I know if I'm getting through my whole workday and I haven't been able to move in the morning, I haven't scheduled myself a break, and I know I have a busy evening, I personally feel that in my mood, in my patience with people. I know I'm better off to schedule myself 10 to 15 minutes to just stretch and breathe, focus on my body, give myself that time. I know that I can show up better for the people around me. I can be more productive at work just because I prioritize and I remember I don't really feel like doing this right now, but I remember that I can show up better for other people around me if I just take a moment for myself and move my body around, clear my head, get my blood flowing. If you're someone who has big visions and big goals set for your well-being, I encourage you to enter the process, to enter your wellness journey with some flexibility and some expectation that you're probably not going to get there on a direct, seamless path. I want you to expect to run into hurdles and expect to adjust things and watch things maybe change or veer from your original plan in terms of the path from now to that bigger goal. For example, if you set out to start your exercise program and you fit into your schedule, you crush it for week 1, you check off that box every single morning or every other morning, whatever your plan is, you get to week 2 and one of your kids is sick in the morning and you can't make it to your exercise, or you had a rough night of sleep, or you're sick and you've slept in and you've missed that exercise session. Just be prepared for those things to come up. And when they do, don't sweat it at all. You can tell yourself, I'm going to make up for this later on this day, or I'm going to take today as a rest day, or take 5 minutes at night for deep breathing. And it's just a way that you just adjusted the way that you're training your body today. So you still get that check mark that day. You still did something for yourself. You set aside time. You had good intentions. You had a moment of mind-body connection. It just looked a little differently than your original plan. By being prepared and okay with changes like that, it allows you to stay motivated and believe in yourself. I know that sometimes we have these goals and expectations for ourselves, and when something gets in our way and we can't get it done, sometimes it's really hard the next day to wake up motivated, ready to go, because we have this sense of failure from the day before. So again, when you start this journey to better health, prepare for it to look a little bit sideways. Prepare to adjust part of the process. Be okay with it. Don't view it as a failure. Just view it as a modification that you've learned and another tool that you can learn later on. Setting realistic and achievable goals is the first step to your wellness journey. It's not about perfection or drastic changes. It's about progress, consistency, and creating habits that support your overall well-being. Whether you're just starting out or coming back from years of being inactive, Just know that you have the power to make positive changes in your life now and in the future. Focus on the smaller wins, focus on the progress goals, and enjoy the process. And remember to always keep your why, your intrinsic motivator in mind as you're working through your wellness goals. At Inclusive Movement, we're here to guide you every step of the way. Our guided video exercises, courses, and all access community are designed with these principles in mind, knowing that exercise doesn't come naturally to you, doesn't seamlessly fit into your schedule, and it's sometimes something that you don't find that enjoyable. Our most popular beginner classes are the 14-day Easy Start Mobility course. This one's 2 weeks long. Members are loving it, especially when they're getting started or coming back from break. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels so achievable. And when you're done that 2 weeks, you feel amazing and you're ready to go for more. You're ready to stay on track.